Hey, Nate. Okay, I'm going to vacate so that Chris can take over. Okay, you're on a public one. Not, let's go back to that. All right, yeah, tell you what.
All right. How's everybody doing? Can you guys hear me? All right. Michael says yeah. That noise was Joe, I think. Okay, so we got a big group today. I have a lot of different meditations and things that I have done in the past that I know. Unfortunately, my folder that I had a lot of that written down in had disappeared when I had all the break ins at my house. So a lot of things are still in my memory bank. I just got to shake them loose. But I'm going to try to concentrate on things that you guys can kind of see. I have chair meditations, lying meditations, standing meditations, forms, things of that nature. Before we get kind of involved in all of that, I know we've been kind of discussing energy and chi, and a lot of times people don't understand when you're talking martial arts, there is a art to martial arts, and that involves energy exercises as well. It's not just punching and kicking. When you get to, we'll say, more advanced ranks, everything kind of comes to an energetic basis. Aikido, Aikido, that is the core of the fundamentals of that art. It's different in the sense that that is taught, the key or energy aspects are taught from the very first day, from the very beginning. So they do everything from the beginning. That's why a lot of times people, when they see Aikido, they're like, well, that's not realistic, because they don't understand that what they're really doing is working energy work. And so from a physical standpoint, it may not be as applicable as some other arts on a physical level initially. But whenever you start understanding the key aspects or energy aspects, you start to look at what they're all kind of coming towards. Okay, so that's why um, the founder of Aikido, Mori Ueshiba, said eventually all arts will look the same not only in technique, but in application, because energy aspects being applied. Okay, so um, now when you're looking at energy, you have to also understand that there's a negative aspect to energy as well. I know a lot of times people don't really talk about that, but for every positive, there's a negative. The yin and yang exchange concept. Okay, so um, when you're dealing with energy work, the more energy that you generate, the more energy that you increase, the more negative, we'll say, spirituality. I don't want to get into religions or anything like that, but uh, you also have to understand that there's a negative aspect to energy. And I know Sifu Joe referenced the force the other day. Okay, there is a negative, dark side to everything. Okay, so you can't have one without the other. So in order to understand that, you have to understand that you have to do certain preparations to keep purification uh, in place. Most times, when you're talking about purification, you're talking about using things like uh, salts, and you're using, prayers of whatever nature. You have to have a good understanding of your spirituality when you start getting into um, energy arts, because once you open a door to energy, it attracts energy of all levels. So you have to have a good basis and a good foundation so that you can get the healing benefits of it. Because we all know that there's, say, occultic energy, there's occultic practices, and that is the other side of the coin. That's not the side that martial artists are necessarily after or involved in. So I don't want to get into a whole lot. I want to try to give you guys a foundation of what's going on when you talk about energy work, because it can have great benefits, but it can also have great uh, negative effects too. Particularly when you start becoming stronger, other, we'll say, um, less inclined people, they will want to take that energy from you because they're too lazy to generate their energy. And so you have what they call energetic vampires. It's basically, it's like having a line and you're generating electricity, and they can plug into it and they can actually absorb your energy and leave you feeling very negative or very sucked of energy. It's kind of like when you go into a room, you can feel that there was an argument or something in the air. You can feel that energy in the air. It's a heavy energy. And so you have to find ways to disperse that energy, to absorb it, and to ground it. So grounding is a big thing. When you're talking about energy, remember, we're looking at it from a scientific standpoint at this point. We're not looking at it from necessarily religious standpoint. If you look at it from a scientific electrical standpoint, it makes a lot of sense that you have a circuit. Okay, so the atmosphere is full of energy, and you're tapping into that energy, and it's becoming a closed circuit. So what you have is you have your body is drawing from the ground, it's grounding the energy. You have energy from the atmosphere coming down, and then when it joins, then it becomes transferable. Okay, it becomes where you can generate it, you can absorb it, you can amplify it. Okay, so it's a closed circuit. When you're looking at yin and yang, you're also looking at the connections of your body. You have two feet, two arms, whatever. Now the energy will transfer and change, kind of like a figure eight. Okay, so what you have is you have a drawing of energy coming down and around like this, which creates a closed circuit. And we'll get into that when we start going into some of the exercises that I'm going to show today, because it's very important that you understand that what you're doing is you're creating vortex energy and you're making it amplify into the lower dantian. Okay, so uh, don't want to get into a whole lot of that because I know you guys are interested in getting to the actual um, context here. So Paris is back on here. So make sure you guys review things and go back to the beginning of things if you've missed anything. Okay, so you want to make sure that you get everything kind of that we're discussing. So you have to go back and look at it. So what we're going to do first is, now keep in mind I haven't done a lot of these exercises for quite some time. So a lot of this is kind of being rattled from my brain. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to do the forms. Most energy aspects, most energy exercises are just like Nikola Tesla talked about, the number three, multiples of three. So most Qigong will do things in multiples of three, 3 times, 6 times, 12 times, 24 times, 12 times. Okay, so it's all in multiples of three. Okay, so when you look at it from that standpoint, it makes more sense, because what we're doing is we are creating a frequency, we're creating a vibrational energy. So Tesla talked about that. He talked about when you're looking at energy, when you're looking at universal energy, you got to think in terms of frequency, vibration, and energy. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started into actual technique or form, whatever. So I don't want to overload you guys with too much information. I know a lot of different uh, types of meditations. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with what I had learned. I learned a uh, long form and a short form of this. So I'm going to try to do it 3 different angles, and then we're going to go over that. Okay, so make sure you have everything out of your pockets, any credit cards or anything like that. So back to what Joe has talked about in the past here. So take off all your shoes and everything. And what I'm doing today is giving you an overview of things to go over. I don't want to spend a tremendous amount of time on this because I have a lot of things that I want to try to show today. So I'm going to start off with what I learned as a Bagua form, Bagua Zhang. Okay. So I'm doing the short form because I have to rattle the long form out of my brain here. But basically, see if I can get this thing kind of set where we can see, is we're going to start in a neutral position. Okay. Now, we know that the character 2 position is a very common position when you talk about chi exercise. So we're going to start in a very neutral position right here. Okay. So what you're going to do is just like in the other form. I'm going to talk a lot because I want to explain this, but ideally you don't want to talk when you're doing energy aspects or energy exercises. But I'm talking now so that I can show you what I'm doing. Okay. So relax here. And when you do tapping of the body parts, what you're doing is you're awakening certain energy lines. So you start here, and you come here. Concentrate on feeling your pulse. Feeling that pulse going through your wrists and down to your fingertips. And you come down, connecting to the ground. Come up, turn, extend out. Going energy in, and low dantian. Breathing in as you pull in. Now, there's 3 times. Bring it around. Bring it down. Out. In. Connecting the middle middle fingers. Hip. Tracing the knees. Moving down. Connection. Moving up. Out. Okay. This is the jaw dome foot position. Shift. Shift and sink. Shift and sink. Down. Reaching back, palms up. And back. Now, upper. Moving around. Posture here. Moving back. Moving around. Sink. Extend out. Back. Now, going down. In. Down. That's the short form. So we'll do that a few more times. Okay. So relax. Should start feeling little vibration patterns in your fingers and your hands. See if we have. Okay. So just kind of follow along. We'll get a lot of questions probably later. Okay. So here. Relax. Find your pulse. Once you find your pulse, feel it vibrate down into your fingers. Down. Connect. Extend out, lower down to you. And in and out. Around. Back. Tracing down your wrist to your forearm. Down. Bump. Connect. Sit down your knees. Fill your palms with energy. Shit. Sinking down. Palms up. Back. Squeeze out. Up. One more time. Sleep. Low density. Down. Yeah. Yes. Down. Move in. Breathe out. Sleep. So that's 3 times on that. When coming down, what you want to do is you want to draw the energy down to you, towards your third eye, down your center line to your lower dantian. Then relax. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next exercise. Okay. So the next exercise we're going to do is going to be involving a chair. So give me some comments, see what you guys think of that one so far, and then collect a chair. Okay. So just a normal chair of any size or stature. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to collect chairs. Give me some feedback. Let me know when you guys are ready. Put the camera down more, okay? How's that? Need a little bit more, probably? We'll be doing a whole lot with the feet. Okay. Yeah, we can see that. Okay. Okay, when you're using a chair, you can use basically any type of chair that you want. For convenience, metal chairs are better. When you're talking about the energies of the body, the spine is very much similar to the bones in general, but the spine is very similar to wood. Okay, so metal and wood, it works out okay. So what you're going to do when you get chair exercises, I'm going to put this in the middle because, like I said, I had to take a few notes because I have lost all of my actual notes. So what you want to do is you want to create, anytime you're doing a setting type of thing, what you want to do is create a vortex type of energy, okay? So that energy is going to come down the sacrum into the, tailbone sacrum area. So what you want to do is you want to get to the edge of the chair like so, almost where you're about to slide off the end, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to first open up the spine and the body by doing rotations. And we'll do the same type of rotations when we do setting meditations, okay? So what we're trying to do is you go from left knee to right knee and back, kind of like a triangle that's going to come around into a circle, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to think through your shoulders down into your spine and ultimately to your tailbone. Okay, so you're going to just kind of roll it like this. So the more round you can make it, the better it's going to be. It's going to be like on a cam. Okay, so it's going to go around this way. So just do this for just a few minutes. Again, I'm going to abbreviate this so that I can give more information, but ideally you want to stretch this out, each one of these phases, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. Again, ideally you want to do multiples of 3, so 15, 30, 90, whatever, about 45 in there, 60. So anything that's in a multiple of 3 is, for some reason, very significant. All Chi masters all talk about the significance of the number 3. So as we go around, what we're going to do is start elongating the circle, going forward to back, but you don't want to go straight into forward to back. You want to transition. So you start making the circle a little bit more of a wobble. And as it becomes more of a wobble, it will start to straighten out into a forward to back movement. So eventually, you'll be going forward and back. Get to the point of going forward and back. We're going to do that for just a few minutes. Here you're going to go all the way forward and breathe in. Raise your spine up and then let the air out going down your spine. Down. That's 3. 4. 5. 6. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice some sounds, okay? So we're going to go with the healing sounds, 6 healing sounds. And they correspond with not only color, but also particular organs of the body. And when we do this, you'll feel vibrational energy coming through those organs, through your hands, through everything, okay? So frequency is a resonance, and a resonance will create a energy or light of sorts. So there's a color band that is associated with that. So I don't want to get into it a whole lot right now, but I want you to feel this. So we're going to start with the lungs, okay? And the lungs are white in color. The color associated is white. So what you're going to do is you're going to first activate the points that's associated with those organs. So on the lungs, it's actually right below the collarbone on each side, both collarbone sections. Right below, there's a point, okay, on each side. So you're going to push in those points just below the collarbone edges, okay? So you feel the round edge of the collarbone. Connect these two fingers right here, the OK sign. It's mudra. This is a connection. So what we're doing is we're connecting energy, okay? So what we're doing here is we are going to think white energy, okay? So you can actually imagine stirring up the color white down here. So as you stir up the color white, think white paint. As you're stirring up white, place it right here. Press it in. Now what you want to do is make sure that you are in a good state of mind. You want to feel appreciative of your body, of everything that you have. So you actually come in and you smile towards your organs. And you think healing energy. So you think healing and white energy, healing. Okay? When you come off the points, connect here. Now, what we're going to do from here is we are going to actually come up and we're going to come in praying position, still thinking white energy, still feeling the energy on the points where we pressed. Come up, breathing in. And the sound is an S, like a snake. So you come out, breathe in. Relax. Right. Think white again. Keep the image in your mind. Keep your image in your points. Come up. Breathe in. Sink. Connect. Think white. Feel the points. Feel the energy on those points. Out. Up. Breathe in. Breath. Relax. Just feel the lungs, feel the points. Feel how it feels inside. Second sound we're going to make is for the kidney. Okay? So when you are working with the kidney, what you're going to do is you're going to take your palms in your hands, put them, first you want to use the wrists. Lean forward and you tap on your back, right here, right at the kidneys. Just tap with the wrists. Then you're going to take your hands open and turn them over and connect the middle fingers in the back. Letting the rest of the hand open across the kidneys. The color that you're going to think on this is going to be a dark blue. Okay, so really, really dark blue. So think about the darkest blue you've ever seen and just put that right into your kidneys. So now we're going to bring the knees in. Come down and grab your knees here. What you're going to do is you're going to pull your back forward, rolling your shoulders around. So you want to round your back. So you come to the side so you can see like this. Okay. So here. Letting your spine come up, feeling it in your lower back. The sound that's associated with that is going to be a O, okay? So it's pronounced like ooh. Okay, so actually this one is a O. Slowly breathe in, thinking in your back, in your spine. Come up. Bring your hands up. Bring it in. It's O. Oh. Relax. Feel the stretch across your kidneys. Up. It's up. Elbows. Press in. Breathe in. Oh. Relax. Come up. Hands up. Elbows. Up. Oh. Well, how to get you there. Okay. So when you bring your hands out, you should feel vibration stretching all the way down like an arc. So we bring the hands and feet back out. The next one we're going to do is for the liver. Okay, so the liver color is green, and it is associated with the sound shh, like telling somebody shh. Okay, so when you have your liver resonating, you're going to come off here. You're going to bring the arms up, float them up. Breathe in. Interlace your fingers. Raise your arm up and turn the palm over. And as you come out, you're going to separate. And the sound is shh. So breathe in. Open. Try to feel the energy into your hands. You're going to think green. Raise your fingers. Up. Breathe in. Separate. And out. Now you notice that the hand position is just like a pineal gland, is you're using the pineal mindset. Come up. Thinking green. Up. Interlace the fingers. In. And out. Okay. So come up and relax. Feel your body. Feel everything going on. Next, what we're going to do is for the heart. And the sound is going to be ha. Color is going to be red. Okay. So, connect here. Think red. You can dip your hand in here and stir the red if you want. You don't have to, but it helps with imagery, intention. Think red. You're going to take these 4 fingers, just like palm south, the spade hand, and come right into the center line, right in between the breastplate here. Just going to move it up and down, just like this. Opening points here. There is a point for the liver. I have to look it up and find out for next time. almost feel like your fingers are still pressing into your chest. Still thinking red. Come up, float up. As you float up, you should feel, or try to feel, energy collecting in your hands. Just intentionalize it. Feel that energy coming into your hands. It should feel like a vibration or magnetism coming at you. Bring them together, connect. Sound is ha. Breathe in. Ha! Relax. Feel your chest. You feel like almost a vibration right now. Hands. Float the wrists. Feel energy as you're floating the wrists. Elbows up. Connecting fingers. Bring it up. Breathe in. Now. So the next color, the next organ is going to be the spleen, and the color is going to be associated, is going to be yellow. Okay? And the sound is going to be ooh, like ooh. Okay? So what you're going to do for the spleen to activate the points is going to be right under your rib cage on the left side. Okay? So you're going to come over here to the left side, and you're going to find the rib cage, bottom side of the rib cage. You're going to first tap it here. You're going to open the palm, press in, connecting the middle finger, connect the middle finger, and press in just below the rib cage. Think yellow, the yellow color. You can always use what they call the will of chi. And you can use that for imagery. So we think yellow, yellow. it up, push it right in here, connecting. Sound is ooh, like ooh. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Back to center and out. Connect. Little fingers. All right, connect with OK sign. Okay. The last sound that we're going to do, we're actually going to get up from the chair and be on the floor. So again, I have to kind of position things. So ideally, you don't want to have to do all that. So when we go up, now we can move the chair. Position on the ground. So the triple warmer sound, last sound. You're going to lay down here with the palms up. Just relax. Feel everything in your body. Feel everything moving down from your shoulders, down your spine, through your hands, through your feet. Just relax. Feel your body. Last sound that we're going to do is he, like he. Just relax. Breathe in. Breathe in. Last time. Breathe in. Just relax. Let everything go. Let your body sink into the earth. When you're ready, you're going to get up. There's a specific way to get up when you're doing energy exercises. you're going to do is you're going to bring your leg up, one knee, the right knee. You're going to bring your body around. Just start working yourself over, and then up. As you come up, connect to the ground, connect to the earth. Bring it up, and as you come up from that position, you're going to exhale out and raise your body up to your toes and back down. Okay? So what it will look like as you get up is you will connect to the ground, to the earth with the fingertips. Then the back of the hands and the palms. As you come up, you're going to breathe in. And let that out. Relax. Reposition. Okay, so that's one second sequence that I want to show today. So go ahead and relax. I want to hear a few comments before we move on. See how you guys feel with that. So just give me a few comments. Let me know how you feel, how it feels for you. I don't know the exact frequencies, but I know the healing range they do have a healing range. You have to look that up. I don't know exactly, but I'm sure that it corresponds with certain key notes, say on a keyboard or whatever. I'm sure that it does correspond. In fact, I know it does, but I'm not a musical guy, so I don't know what those frequencies actually are. But I'm sure that a person could probably find them. Okay, Joe had a little difficulty. Okay, we'll try to work on some things with that. The one that I'm going to do next is going to be a floor meditations, and it's going to use vowel sounds. Okay. Yeah, if somebody was mute and was playing those frequencies, your body is interesting that even if you are deaf, even if you have disabilities, your body still recognizes frequency patterns. It still recognizes things, even though you can't actually see or hear or feel certain things, maybe. Your body actually knows it. You don't have to know it. Your body will actually respond to certain things without you even being consciously aware of it. And playing those frequencies with a phone, yeah, phone or speaker, yeah. In fact, that's a big part of Qi exercises is to have the music and things like that. So that music that people play a lot with Qi or meditation is to help amplify those frequencies, to bring it more into you. So even if you don't know how, if you were like a mute person, okay, yeah, you could actually put those frequencies. It's kind of like similar to when a woman is pregnant, they tell her to listen to the heartbeat of a well or, sounds of the ocean or whatever, because those sounds will actually have a healing effect. And the sound of a well heartbeat actually puts the human heartbeat into proper rhythm. So your body will naturally align itself with energy, even if you're not aware of what is actually going on. Your body knows what's going on. Okay, so hope you guys are enjoying this so far. We've been at it for about an hour, so I'm going to try to speed things up just a little bit so you can review those things and you can actually go back over them. Just remember that everything works in series of 3, 6, 9, 12, 24, whatever. So you can do these as many times as you want to, but it has to be in multiples. Okay, multiples of 3. So next thing we're going to do is actually going to be a floor deal. No, actually, I'm going to do that next time. So next time, I got a few more things I want to do. I want to do 2 things on the floor because I'm afraid that if I get in that, I'm going to run out of time for everything else. So I do have a floor meditation where you're laying down and one where you're sitting down. Okay, so next time I will go over those. But for right now, what I want to do is I want to get into our sequences of what I call my warm-ups for Aikido exercises or Aiki exercises. So there's more to it than what people think, because when you see the physical movement, that's really not the key aspect or energy aspect. So I really don't get into that, but whenever we're doing our warm-ups, we're actually working energy exercises. So the way that my instructor taught it was incorporating both, but I'm going to try to extract more of the chi or key aspect, okay? So what we have is, again, starting in neutral position, okay? So now we can come into the character 2, which, interesting enough, the character 2 is like this, okay? Like spread apart with a crosshair. So the number or character 2 in Chinese looks very, very similar to something like this, okay? It's interesting. And so what it actually means is gathering, okay? So the position of a character 2 is gathering or gathering energy. So when you come here, coming out, 1, 2, dropping, okay? So this is very, very similar to most chi energy arts, okay? So this is, you'll see Mori Ueshiba standing like this a lot. So the movements in our typical warm-up, we're doing just back movements, but in chi exercise, what you're doing is actually turning your body and bringing your palm forward and your wrist back, okay? So it's very, very specific as to what we're doing here. It's not just slinging our arms around like a back stretch. This is very particular of energy exercise. So 1, 2, okay? So we're starting out here, and as you turn, you're going to bring your hands forward and back behind you, just like this. So we're not going very hard. We're not trying to create a big rotation. Okay, so actually very, very slow, but very relaxed. So you're not trying to stop anything, just letting it flow around your hips, from your hips, hip to hip. Okay? So as you move hip to hip, you should start to feel your fingers starting to tingle a little bit, starting to feel that pulse coming down into your fingers. So we do this. Again, I'm not trying to sling my arms. I'm just trying to clear my hips. Flowing, smooth. As you come to a stop, you're going to bring your hands to the front. Just going to rotate, connect like a triangle right in front of the lower dantian. As that starts to slow down, stop. What is your focus? Feel your hands, feel the energy in your hands. Bring it to the lower dantian. Out. Here. Relax. Connect. Your fingers. Okay sign. Breathe in, around, back, palms up, middle finger touching. Breathe in, extend down and out. Palms back, shoulders, rotation. And from here, after you do shoulder rotation, now you're going to bring hands up. Slow, even. Turn the palms to you. Keep a gap in between. Draw it down towards you, toward your face, down your center line. Open out. Bring it up. Incorporating the breath. Breathing out as you come down the center line. Breathe in. And out. Concentrate on feeling the energy between the middle fingers. Remember, you're not touching, creating a gap. Good. Close the fists. Squeeze and breathe in. Open and let out. Okay. Now, normally in our exercises, we go through a lot of stretching and opening, but right now we're going to concentrate on the energy aspect. So what we're going to do right now is bring the arm up like a circle. I'm going to start at the trapezius and come down. So it's 6 on the upper and 6 on the lower. Bring it down. Relax. Feel your energy moving down your arm, from your shoulder, down to your wrists, through your fingers. Now, what we'll do now is we want to bring your feet in, and we are going to scoop energy up. Okay? So when you do this, you're trying to feel energy pulling up with you. Okay? It's kind of like what we did with the Chilo. So as you're here, relax, sink down, scoop up. Connect the little fingers, bring it down your body. Relax. Concentrate on your pulse. Concentrate on feeling through your hands, through your wrists. So now we're going to work on bringing the energy around. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up, connect, just like cupping here. Okay. Then cup these two together, very relaxed. Probably see this in Aikido videos, and you see this in Qigong videos. What they're doing is they're balancing the energy. Okay? Very common practice right here, right in front of the lower dantian. Okay, so you're not touching, just bouncing it right here in front. And what you're going to do from here is you're going to, this is not swinging, this is moving. You're going to start bringing it around here. It's like stirring a big pot. It's elliptical. Okay, so you move with your center, bringing your center and your hands together. Smooth movements. Center. Change position, right over left. Bounce. Turn. Notice I'm not throwing the arms out. I'm moving everything connected. Moving the hips. Dropping the leg, moving the hips. Center. This time, instead of going up and down, we're going to go around like this. Hold it. Feel your hands, feel the vibration in your hands. And release. We're going to come to the back here. We're going to connect little fingers. Hands open on the hips. I'm going to rotate here, very similar to what you saw the other day with mindful. But we're not going big movements. Here we're going very small movements. Okay, just enough to feel that center move. Stop. We go to the left, to the right, and sink. To the left, all the way to the right, sink. All the way to the left. Goes to the right, sink. That's 3. Okay. So now we're going to come down here. We're going to move from the center here. I want to connect over here from the center. Feel that energy collected. Now we're going to move around Coming out. Pushing the center forward. Stretching the shoulders back. Bring it around, like connecting a ball around you. Bring the energy back to the center. It's 15. Now, what you're going to do from here is you're going to take your knuckles, your hands, put it right here on the points we did earlier for the lungs. Okay? So you're going to come here and circle it. Warming up those points for the lungs. You want to feel the lungs, points feeling warm. What you're going to do is you're going to touch your chin to your pinky knuckle. You're going to breathe in. Now, we went out of sequence just a little bit, but that's okay. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to work more on the spine and more on the legs. Okay, so we did go out of sequence just a little bit, but it's all right. So from here, what we're going to do, we're going to scoop and draw energy in here. Bring it above, triangle above your upper gate, pineal chakra, whatever you want to call it, and then back. That's one. Let's do. Now you're going to bring your toe up, turn it through, and from here, neck, working hamstring. Now, there are a few more things in that sequence, but I have to go back over them to kind of figure out where exactly they go, because it's been quite a few years since I went through the whole sequence. So we're looking at 11:30 right now, so I don't want to get too much more in this because we're going to run out of time for any weapons. So everybody feel pretty good with this? Give me some comments. Kind of tell me what you feel about this. Tell me what you think so far. But there's a lot more stuff that I have that I can show later. Okay. Joe likes those. Those are pretty good. I actually like those a lot. There is more to that sequence. I just, the full sequence is just, it's about a 15-minute deal to get all of it. Yeah, it is. That's what I was saying the other day with the Chilil. It's very, very similar. There's a lot of good stuff mixed in there. Good. Keep all one-handed. Yeah. Okay. So get ready to do some weapons because we got about another 25, 30 minutes. So I'm going to probably go over weapons a little quick. Of course, we can always come back to things later, next time, whatever you want to say. When you're doing chi exercises, it takes a long time because obviously you don't want to rush anything. You want to feel the energy in a soothing way. You want to build it in a soothing way. You don't want to try to rush it because you can actually make yourself sick doing energy work if you're not doing it properly. So yeah, you have to be very careful because any rush can actually cause the stress to lock into you. So you don't want to rush energy work. Okay, so go ahead and we're going to start with knife first because that's what I was asked to do, uh, you know, primarily. So knife is one of the things that I was very fortunate. My instructor was, he said, I don't know, I don't have any way to validate this, but he said he was a Marine recon. And I believe it was very true based on a lot of things that I've seen going down to see Professor Dill. A lot of the techniques are very, very similar. But I think because of my instructor's background with a lot of Chinese influence, it may be a little bit smoother in application in some ways. Not to, you know, not to downplay anybody's system or anybody's method. So, but it is very, very smooth and very, very slick. And so I'll get my knife and let me know when everybody's got their knife in hand. All right. So now everybody, you're familiar with what you've been taught for the JKD, what you've been taught for the SDS systems, whatever. Um, what I do is very similar in some ways and very different in other ways because it is very rounded. The movements that I do are rounded instead of being linear, straight attack type movements. So when you're looking at knife, particularly, you want to have freedom to roll your wrists. Okay, so you can start with just warming up like this by just bring it around like a big circle, blade up, tip up, just rolling your wrists, okay? So what you want is you want to be able to have that freedom to change your positions, to move very smooth and fluid, okay? Because if you have to stop and have to think about where am I going to hold this thing, it's going to be very dangerous for you to actually even have the weapon because you're going to get jammed with it, okay? So I'm going to show a form, and I'm also going to stop and do close-ups on how I'm actually changing hand positions when I'm doing certain things, okay? So very, very slick, very cool weapon if you understand angles and how to use it, okay? So I'm going to just do the form straight on and then do the form to the side. Michael and Stuart have seen the form that I've done with the knife and the sword, so they should be able to help you guys out. This is a good reference. That's why I like this format, because we can actually let you review what the hell we're doing, okay? So very important weapon right here. So I'm going to start, obviously, neutral. Neutral on just about everything I do from the beginning. So what we're going to do is we're going to opening sequence, just right here. Okay, so we come here, I'm going to bring it back. Now you can see that it's hard to see the knife. So from that side view, this is what I'm doing right here. Okay, so I'm doing like this from the side view. Okay, so here, dropping it back, hard to see. Okay, now what I also have is my front foot is lifted just slightly. I'm on the ball of my foot. Okay, so my heel is up. I'm on the ball of my foot. So here, now, as I shoot it out, I'm going to connect my hand to the wrist here. Okay, this is a power move. Everything that I've been taught is for power moves and for quick movements. So power here. The blade is out, the blade is forward. As I turn, I'm going to bring the blade back and across, still keeping it connected. 1, 2, 3, okay? So from the beginning again, here, 1, 2, 3, and draw it back, okay? So the next move from there is actually going to come here. 1, 2, 3, and when you bring it back, you're going to shoot this up like somebody's trying to attack you from the top. So this is a defense right here. So you're defending it and you're checking down low. Okay. So after we do this, we're going to come here. Okay. So step by step, this is going to take a few minutes, and then we're going to go through the whole thing. Here, 1, 2, 3, and on that fourth one, you bring it up. And then you're going to slide it back and face the other way. Now, as you do this, you're going to scoop it up, like you're scooping up something. So it's going to look like this from the side. Okay. So once you got that scooped up, then you're going to do the same thing. Okay, so we'll face this way. I've scooped it up. Now I'm going to come this way. Then I'm going to go 1, blade out and forward, check. 2, check. 3, check. Then I'm going to go 1, blade over, pull, pull, pull. Okay? So from the side, I'm going to do a side view of everything we've done so far. Here, 1, 2, 3. Then on the fourth one, scoop, pull, and back. 1, 2, 3. Over, pull, pull, pull. Okay. So the next thing from there is you're going to switch hand positions. Okay. So in order to switch hand position, you go from here. And as you draw it in, you draw it back. Okay, so here. Okay, so you're just sliding it through your fingers, opening your palm. holding it back. Okay. So after I did that last one, holding it back, then down thrust. 1, 2, 3, down 4. Okay. So once I go down, then I'm going to flip. I'm going to flip the end of the blade over the hand. Okay. So down, flip, and then out. The blade is always facing out towards your opponent. Okay. So from the side view, all the way through everything. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 3. Okay. Here. 2. So 1, 2, 3. Then down and out. Okay. So here. 1, 2, 3. Then lost track here. Here. 1, 2, 3. Then 4. And losing my track here. 1, 2, 3. Here. 4. Then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Back. 1, 2, 3. Down. Flip it and out. So when you go out, there's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then you're going to bring it under this way. 1, 2, 3. Then out, down, around, down, thrust. So it's actually a very short form. I'm going to do it all the way from the left, then all the way from the right, then forward and back, so you guys can see everything. It's really a short form, but you have to review it. Okay, yeah, push shuffle, definitely. So I'll do it from the front, then I'll do it from the back, left and right. So I'll do it 4 more times so you guys can see every angle of everything that I'm doing, and you can kind of figure it out and put it together based on that. Okay, so here, drop, 1, pull, 2, pull, 3, still connected, pull. Then on the 4th one, I want you to bring it up, then around, then 1, 2, 3, back, 1, 2, 3, then pull it back, 1, 2, 3, down, flip it, 1, 2, 3, back, 1, 2, 3, back, down, over, down, thrust. Okay? So you can see it from the back side. You'll see the back side of everything that you didn't see here. We will face away from this now. So here. Now, flip the blade. 1, 2, 3, check. And on the 4th one, drop back. 1, 2, 3, down. Flip it and out. 1, 2, 3, under this way. This is like if somebody's coming to grab it, you can trap them. Okay, so this is what this movement is for. You got to be careful because you might stab your own arm. Okay, so once you got this and you've shuffled this way, now somebody's reaching for your blade, you trap it and stick them again. You trap it and stick them again. Okay, then you drop it down and angle it this way, up, around, down, thrust. Okay? So from this side, pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, drop. As you drop, pull it back. 1, 2, 3. Here, here. There's 1, 2, 3. Coming under. Trap, thrust, trap, thrust, trap, thrust. Then from here, around the outside. 1, 2, 3, thrust. Okay? So that last part, last sequence part, is very interesting how it flows. So I'll go over that last part one more time from the side so you can see everything here. So that last part, after we have done the downward thrust, here, flipping it, you flip it and rotate it around so that the blade is out. 1, 2, 3, trap it. 1, trap it. 2, 3. Now, the angle here, I'm rolling the shoulder up like a gong sao, back. So, gong sao, back, down, thrust. Okay? So, from this side, I'll do it this side. Here. 1, 2, 3, up. 4, 1, 2, 3. Then pull it back. 1, 2, 3. Then pull it up. 1, 2, 3. Down. Okay? Down. Flip it. Roll it. 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to stay in the screen here. Then 1, 2, 3. Up, around, down, thrust. Okay? So that's all of those for that sequence for the knife. Okay? So we may not have time for the sword today, so I may have to pair that with the stuff I'm going to do next time. Okay? So everybody like this knife so far? Because I'm going to go over some transitional moves that you guys may not be able to catch. Okay? So, transitional movements, very important that you have a blade or a handle that is short enough that you can actually move it in your hand. Okay, so we talk about the rotation this way, okay? So, as you move with the knife, you want to be able to flip without losing control. So as you come here, you're going to drop. Okay? Now, see that rotation, how I change positions here. Okay, so what I'm doing is, when I'm here, I'm bringing this in, letting it slide, and then back, and recapturing it. Okay, so here. So some of you may or may not be familiar with that. So you're here, then underhand. Now you can flip around underhand. So now you have angles that you can use here. So I might be coming here, here, might flip it here, okay? So that flip you may not see. So then I flip it back. Then I can come back in here, okay? So very interesting how you do this. So these movements here, figure 8. So that'll help drill figure 8. Rolling the wrist. Okay, so when you're moving, okay, out, you change position by rolling the wrist. Okay. So everybody got that so far? Now there'll be a position that's blade out. Now what if I want the blade to be in, like this way? Okay, you still do a similar movement, but what you do is you actually flip the blade from vertical to sideways. vertical and sideways, okay? So when you flip it this way, now you just follow that same deal. You flip it around. Now the blade is facing me. Now why is that important? Is because if I want to hack and pull something, I want that blade to do the damage. This way you can trap somebody. This way you can cut somebody, okay? So when you want to use the blade the other way, you come here, flip it on edge sideways, and then follow that same movement, okay? Which turns the blade inside. Here, here. So the blade is inside. Okay, you guys like this so far? All right, so I don't know if the computer's not refreshing or what, but I don't see any more comments, so I'm going to move on and press on. Okay, so sticks. Sticks are another interesting thing right there. I'm going to avoid right now. I'll come back later next time and do some sword work. But sticks are interesting because they require basically the same type of movements, round movements. So you're rolling the wrists. So as you're doing that, some people will argue the fact of whether or not you have to have power movements. Yes and no. Stick is not meant for great power until you're ready to deliver that power. Okay? So as you deliver that power, you want to use that hip rotation. That's what we've been talking about a lot lately, is the hip rotation and extension of energy. Okay? So with the extension of energy, see if I can bring this guy over here closer just a minute. All right, so with an extension of energy and rotational energy in particular, you have to roll those movements. So you can't just go, okay? So you have to roll to generate a fulcrum around that movement, okay? So when you're here, you have to come here. Now, as you're coming under, you're using the hip to generate that movement. So here, you extend out from the hip, okay? When you come over, you can use shoulder power, you can use shoulder fulcrums here, off the edge, rounding the edge, okay? So I don't have to use all arm power. So now you have a little bit more flowing movement. So here, off the shoulder, so here, so you're using the hip to generate that backswing power. You're using the hip and the shoulder to get that downward movement. So when you're here, it's not just chopping down, it's moving the hip through the shoulder or hip to shoulder. So hip to shoulder, hip, see, rotation, hip, see. Okay, so using the hip rotation, using those movements. Okay? So we can go over more of this later if you guys want. I know some of you have some obligations maybe. So just certain things to kind of keep in mind when you're doing your punches. Same thing. You're doing your punches, you rotate the hip with it. Because remember, any weapon you have is just an extension of your natural move. Okay. So, you guys have any questions on anything? Maybe a few more minutes to let you guys ask a few questions if you have any. And like I said, the working energy stuff does take a long time, so you run out of time real quick on an hour or two session. So that's why my old classes used to go about 3 hours. But any questions so far? Anything? Any comments? Concerns? I'll give it a few minutes since this thing has such a delay, so I won't close off just right away. I'll wait till about 5 after on the actual time if I don't have any responses. Okay. Yeah, just let me know, Allison, if you have any questions or anything that you want me to go over. I, obviously there's a whole lot more to show. It's just you run out of time whenever you are on the time constraints. So that's why we have multiple classes, and that's why we come in, and train. But so much stuff, so many technical, intricacies that it's hard to sometimes get them all across. And people learn it different ways, so some people learn visually, some people learn by doing themselves. So uh, always a good thing. Try different approaches because just like different systems, different qigong, different methods, whatever. So you got to find what works for you. Just like Bruce Lee talked about is find what works for you and make it your own. All right. Yeah, there's a few comments, all good stuff, and yeah, like I said, we have a lot more. I have a lot more that I can show. It's just I have to do it in chunks so that I don't overload everybody with a lot of information. And because it's on a recording, you guys can review and you guys can, go at your own pace with some of these things and try to pick apart everything that I have here. So um, we will definitely retouch some of these things in depth more. But if you have specific questions in the future, definitely let me know because I definitely like to try to make sure everybody has the concept of what they're doing. To me, concepts are probably more important than actual technique uh, because you have to understand what and why and how you're doing something before it really truly makes sense. So that's just the way I've always been taught. That's the way I always teach is I have to be able to explain it to you in a way that you can understand the concept. Then you can refine your individual technique. Okay, so I'll give it a few more minutes. If there's no more questions after that, then I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. Got about 2 more minutes, and we'll see if there's anything else going, and then I'll shut it down. Oh yeah, keeping the arm connected. That's a huge thing. Definitely, anytime that you can make connection, you have ability to not necessarily control, but you have the ability to um, keep things in control. Okay, so that connection is very, very important because it's what I would consider a check. Okay, you're keeping it in check. You know where it's at. You know where things are at. So keeping the arm connected for power when you're delivering power moves. That basically what that's doing is structurally stabilizing your position. So you're triangulating your power. Okay, so if that makes sense, when you move thrusting movements, you're triangulating your power, which is really giving you a more solid foundation. So you have a base and you have the foundation to deliver that movement power through that movement. So yeah, anytime that you can even touch your arm, their arm, or anything else, you're keeping it baseline. All right, guys, I hope everybody enjoyed everything today. We have a lot more to do, a lot more to go over, but this is a good start of things to work on. So until we get to see each other in real time and in a real class, this will have to do. So hope you guys enjoyed everything. Stay safe and have a good time. We'll see you.